right, welcome back. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about how to handle difficult situations. Um, Nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. And that's from Eleanor Roosevelt. Nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. When dealing with these difficult business situations or any situations for that matter, you have to be able to face them with confidence. So, maintaining a good composure and displaying self confidence will help you slow down and think thoroughly when diffusing situations. Now, when you're delivering criticism, feedback is incredibly valuable. Um, Delivering feedback can help others find motivation, and it should be intended for the benefit of the individual. That feedback should be intended for the benefit of the individual. With any feedback, the goal should be to create a win win situation or a win win solution for everybody involved. And with practice, it is possible to increase your comfort and confidence to give feedback and criticism to others. Now, to assertively deliver feedback, you have to be able to present your ideas with control and conviction. You have to be able to avoid jumping to conclusions or making quick assumptions. You have to explain the intentions of the feedback first, because this will have a major effect on how it is both delivered and how it is received. And then be timely, specific, and realistic. Keep the end goal in mind and make a conscious effort to follow up with that individual after the feedback. Now, that's you giving it. When it's your turn to receive the criticism, um, many people find themselves allowing criticism question their authority, their worth, and their power, right? And feelings of shame and anger can often arise and make us doubt our abilities just because we got criticized. And while it can be difficult to receive criticism, it's important to use it as feedback to become stronger and to become more assertive. Assertive individuals have control, and we know this already. So, to effectively receive criticism, you have to first depersonalize negative feedback that is being delivered. Assume that there is always positive intent from the message, right? Also, avoid giving excuses or becoming defensive. Show appreciation to the individual delivering the criticism. Maybe they're being honest and they're seeking the best outcomes. Also, assess that feedback prior to responding. Just allow yourself time to understand what is being said to enable control over your responses. And you have to remember, have compassion on yourself. Whatever it is, whatever that feedback is, view it as a learning opportunity rather than a barrier to success. Now, let's talk about dealing with aggressive behavior. My God, my God. There may be times when we have to interact with aggressive individuals. And when these situations happen, it's very critical to us to be assertive and calm and to be firm. Because responding to aggressive behaviors with hostility will only escalate the situation and make it difficult to diffuse it. So, regardless of whether the aggression is caused by frustration, anger, or stress, it is vital to respond proactively in order to protect your right and safety, or their rights and their safety. And knowing how to confidently deal with aggressive behavior will help create a healthier relationship, whether that's service provider to client or leader to subordinate or spouse to spouse or, you know, different situations. And so there are certain techniques that we can use to turn aggression into cooperation. And to confidently deal with aggressive behavior, you have to remain calm. You have to use assertive communication because you have to be mindful of your own needs and values when dealing with aggressive behavior. You have to remember that you have the right to be treated with respect and that you should receive that respect from that individual that's being helped. And you have to be proactive rather than reactive. You have to share facts and data with the individual to help counteract any strong opinions that they may have. And showing empathy is important, even for people that are acting aggressively, because there's a reason why they're acting aggressively. So express concern to that aggressive individual by responding in a sensitive manner and making them consciously aware of their words and their actions. Also acknowledge their feelings. Acknowledge their feelings because that aggression is coming from somewhere, right? Okay. Just trying to get back. Okay, so when we're dealing with passive behavior, because that's like the opposite of aggressive behavior, being able to remain assertive is a valuable skill as well. And people who have passive behavior tend to behave this way because of low confidence, because of low self esteem. They may seem easygoing and quiet by avoiding conflict or hiding their feelings and staying silent. It's important to encourage such individuals to communicate their emotions and their ideas freely while also avoiding placing pressure on them to speak up. Now, passive aggressive behavior can negatively impact everyone, okay? And you can encourage people to be more open with their voices through questioning, clarification, reflecting, and simply making it clear that their contributions are valued. Okay? So we've started talking about passive aggressive behavior. While this kind of behavior can be expressed through backhanded compliments or body language or sarcasm, it's valuable to recognize the signs and address the behaviors appropriately, right? It's since they are often indirect with their communication, opening up the conversation will give them the opportunity to express their feelings and be heard. So I know it can be hard, but that's definitely a needed skill when when you're being assertive, is to allow them to have open conversation with you. And again, always remember that that behavior comes from somewhere and to not judge. Again, it can be annoying behavior, but be empathetic towards them to know it's actually the byproduct of an underlying issue, a more serious issue, and giving them grace for it. Okay? All right. So let's talk about negotiations. We have a whole course on negotiations. I think we talked about it. Maybe not. Anyway, negotiations can be intimidating, especially if they involve someone who we feel as though is of higher power than us. And the key to convincing others of our ideas and achieving a successful negotiation is to have confidence and remain assertive with our negotiation skills. And the goal for negotiations is to produce a beneficial outcome for everybody. And this requires respect from each opposing side, although it can be stressful to negotiate. We are all capable of becoming better at negotiations with preparation and practice. So, let's talk about some tips that can help you negotiate with confidence. Prepare in advance, okay? What might they say? What are their likely objections? How can I respond to these objections? Whether that's on a sales call or at a pitch or at an interview or at a meeting with an investor, right? These are valuable questions that you can ask. And then approach the negotiation like a conversation. You have to show mutual respect by asking questions, exploring options together, and understanding one another's perspective. And then make sure you're firm without being rude, and share your knowledge on the subject by providing factual evidence, providing information and logic. And then remain focused on the objective. It is possible to be pulled in many directions throughout the negotiation, so it is important to stay focused on what your desired outcome or your goal is. Okay? Okay, see you in the next lesson.